Welcome back, PlayBASIC coders. Like the rest of the world, I've been playing around with this ChatGPT, the OpenAI project, and was amazed at some of the things it can do. I wanted to show you something that, even though it does not know PlayBASIC, but it does know BASIC and it does know programming in general. So I wrote this merge routine for another example I was going to post at some point. And I was using it doing something else, and I thought, well, I wonder if it knows what this does. And we'll find out. I've already asked it this question, so I know it actually does know what it is. Okay, this is ChatGPT. You just go there and create an account, and you're off to the races. So what we'll do is we'll say, can you describe what this code does? Oops. Put it between here. Now we haven't changed it. It's PlayBASIC code clearly. It doesn't know what PlayBASIC is. We'll see what it says. The code is written in a language called Auto Hotkey. Okay. Initialize the test arrays and fills in random numbers. Yeah, that's what it does. Places at the end of the arrays to check if all are included in the merged output. Holy dooly. Yeah, that's true. That's exactly why they're there. Function is called test and arguments. Pass them. Alright. Can you rewrite this code in C for me? This is just how amazing this tool actually is. It's assuming we're passing in a couple of arrays. We're passing the sizes in as well. I think the loop will be much the same. Size lower than this. Okay. Let's alter the expression a little bit. Actually, it's made it simpler. Look at that. That's the comment I wrote. Sort arrays. Compare function. Pretty impressive. And it can do this for a whole bunch of dialects, and you can make responses to this. Can you change the code to merge 3 arrays? Named array 1, array 2, and build the array. When I was initially playing with this, I was just asking it dumb questions, and the responses were both funny and kind of frightening at the end. So we're looping through, checking if right. Now that's a time saver. I mean, I don't care who you are, what language you're using. If you can ask it arbitrary questions and get a framework of something, even though it's not going to know your language exactly, like it has no idea what PlayBASIC is, doesn't got a clue, but it knows procedural programming. So if you can get to answer your question in a language that's kind of similar, or just plain basic if you want. There's a bunch of basics. I posted a question off Facebook actually that someone was asking. It's ended prematurely there, but we won't repeat it. What do you know about PlayBASIC? Okay, so there's made a few mistakes there. It thinks that we're someone else. And I asked it this question a few days ago. Who developed PlayBASIC? Wow, that's a... It's a different response. When I asked it the other day, it said that PlayBASIC was developed by the game creators. So now it's saying it's developed by Underwear Design. So it must have improved that. I didn't actually correct it. You can do corrections here, but there's up, down stuff over here. I was just amazed that it even had a response. Creating pre-loads development environments, they are no longer in business. Well, it's probably true, really. Partly, I guess. Right, let's jump back to PlayBASIC. We'll try this code again. What this thing does actually, it just takes two sorted arrays. It makes arrays full of random numbers, adds some values to the end of the arrays, and then sorts them. I only did that to make sure that when it's copying out the data, I'm getting all of the values from both arrays in the output. That's all. I was going to use it for a sorting example, but I've been having too much fun with messing around with this. Alright, so I'll grab this function. Just grab the function by itself. Alright. So, can you describe what this function does line by line to a beginner programmer? You'll know what I mean. What I find fascinating about this is that it doesn't know PB syntax. So how is it able to read what this is doing. And there are bits of code in here where, or I guess it's kind of guessing. Get array elements. That's a PlayBASIC thing. I don't think it exists anywhere else. I still think we should have length. If you just go length and put the array there, it should give you the length of that. That feels more satisfactory. And there it is. It's the function declares variable a size equal number of elements a. Yeah, b. That's correct. C. Those two variables. Yeah. Inside the loop, the function compares the element in position A. Is added to the yeah. Yeah. It's kind of scary. How would you rewrite this function to be faster? Can we ask it that? Oh yeah, so separate the two things apart. This version of the function avoids using a loop variable. Goes up to C size, makes it faster instantly. Yeah. Iterates other elements, the input arrays, avoids using one additional loop counter. In C, yeah, that's pretty true. What you would hope in C is that your code gets compiled down to where each variable becomes a register on the processor. So less variables in loops is better. That's cool. So what else we got in here? All right, what about Steve's engine? What if he just took now you couldn't paste all this code there, we would have no idea, but what if he just took like what have we got? Ray. What do you reckon the chances of it knowing what the hell that's doing? Alright, so we've got a subroutine here. I'll leave the comments. We're doing intersections with spheres, I think that's doing. You know, if you're listening, Steve, comment down below. I should have read what that does. Can you describe what this code, so say basic code, is doing? Let's find out. That's my question. Yeah, okay. The code is calculating the minimum and maximum x coordinates for a 3D sphere object and 2D screen. Was that in the comments? Probably was. The code utilizes some variables, including minimum z. Minimum z is a sphere shaded. View on the editor, it loops through all of the objects in the transformed code that performs two nested loops. There's a part of me that wasn't expecting it to understand what this was, but it should, given that code is is not this particular code, but the syntax of the code is basic-like enough that if it understands basic, it should be able to pick up what's going on. We're not using anything weird. We've just got 4 next loops and some comparisons and some arrays, but it has no idea what these arrays do. It can't possibly know what this is. Alright, so it's got that from here. Alright, so we'll try another function, bit of code. Just combine colors. Anyway, back to where that wasn't the same code, was it? We'll try combine colors. not a huge bit of code, and can you describe what this basic subroutine is doing? I don't think I need the quotes, but seems to be combining the colors of reflections of a 3D rendering program. You just kind of go, what? Okay. Closest to the ray orange, and then updates the default color with the closest reflections color. Also updates the reflection strength. It also updates the variables related to the reflection, such as the surface point and the normal to the reflection of the object. The reflection hit. Finally, it returns the updated default color. I don't actually know what this function does myself, so that seems okay. So ref count must be how many reflections we have. So the ray must be fired out, hit something, bounce off, and then a new ray is formed and we fire off in that direction and we take on some of the colour we just hit. I don't know. It's been a while. I think that's what's happening with that routine, is that we're taking it with every time the ray hits something or bounces off it, we're blending with that colour. We're keeping a list of what colours we've hit and then blending them all together at some point at the end to give us our reflection colour. Steve, if it knows what that does, can we just do this? Can you write a ray tracer in BASIC form for me? Certainly. I don't know what variation of BASIC it actually knows, but shared, I think, is like a global. A few times I've seen shared used in different languages. It means different things, but our type is the same, type's the same, our material's the same. It's interesting it's choosing to use procedural BASIC and not object orientation. So it kind of knows that what we've used so far. We might try and, if this is short enough, we might try and actually get this to work. I think we died. I did notice that with some of these examples. Can you post the complete code, please? Wow. Okay, so maybe it's decided to abort that, given that it's probably too complicated. What if we changed tax? What if we asked it to build like a library of math functions? You know, there's a gazillion math function libraries, but I hope the general outline is helpful getting started running a ray tracer in BASIC. Okay, can you write code for computing if a array, I've made a 3D array, intersects a sphere. In BASIC. So it should be short enough that it's this is a subroutine in PlayBASIC that can do. Well, I think it's basing this off what it's just seen. Check ray sphere intersection. I'll have to go back and check the code. Because I know it's contextual, so it will actually refer back to what you were talking about before. The ones I thought were hilarious were where I was asking it pop culture references, and one of them, it's almost, I think it's actually giving us spitting out is it spitting out Steve's routine back to us? No. Find the discriminant. Check the discriminant is negative. No intersection. No intersection. Find solutions. Check if, in other words, because an array can, when it intersects with a sphere, there can be two intersection points. The one, if you imagine an array just being, if you're standing in any direction with your arm pointed, and that arm pointed out was infinite length, right? And so if you could sort of point up at the moon, you've got a few different possibilities. You've got the ray never intersects the moon, or it does hit the moon, and you've got a near side intersection and a far side intersection. So, because it will just go straight through it. Check if the positive intersex occurs on the front of the ray. Complete the code. Thank you. It's like it's sort of, I noticed this before with code, is that it did bug out a bit. But still, like I think if you knew what you were trying to do, calculate components of quadratic formula, it's using a different method. We might be pushing it a bit. Keeps deciding to opt out. Nonetheless, I think I'll agree it's a pretty impressive tool, and I think if we use, not me, you, everyone, we use these things, we can actually get to be more and more productive. I've actually been using it a bit to do descriptions of things, as you saw before. So what about a simpler one? So we were talking about math functions before. How to compute. Can you write a function in BASIC that computes the distance between two 3D points? So in other words, hypotenuse pull. Just find dx, get the square root of each one, that's the end of the function. What's cool about that is you could kind of go, which is what I find interesting. You can kind of go, well, let's have it. Can we go back? Ask the same question. It kind of thinks that's PlayBASIC. It's kind of similar. I think that would. Oh no, it's got a single. That would almost work. This is a convention that's used in some basics, by the way, some languages, where you return something by assigning to the name, which I always found kind of annoying because it means if you ever change the function name, you got to go change the return thing. That's why I just like having it after the thing. So that's the 3D version. So we're asking it for a 2D version. Actually, we could have just asked it for a 2D version, couldn't we? Should do the same thing. It didn't bother unrolling this time. How cool is that? What if you went? Can you write the code to compute a normal vector from a 3D vector? Can we write? Now I'll call it a function. Here, write a function in BASIC to compute. Yeah. So I should use syntax we're kind of we're familiar with. So if you don't know, we get the points. Ooh. Regenerate. Sometimes it sort of times out and gets a bit one message at a time. Please allow it's complete before sending. Yep. Okay. Regenerate response. Yeah, okay. It just gets lost sometimes. Fair enough. It's very popular, so you find the length and you divide that into the other sides. Oh, it's interesting. It's going to put them all in an array and spit them out the other end. Very cool. So we're talking about vectors. What about can you write code to rotate 2D vertex? What about rotate an array of 2D vertex in BASIC? So what method it uses? Whoa! Look at that. Get array elements. That's a PlayBASIC thing. The more I talk to it about PlayBASIC, the more it's starting to learn. I wasn't expecting that. Picking up more of. I guess that is only in the context of my conversation, but probably different for other people. All right, what do we got? Yeah, that looks pretty much like a rotation routine to me. I'm stunned that it's chosen this, get array elements, because that's a PV thing. That doesn't exist anywhere else. At least I don't know if I don't think that exists in other languages. I've always wanted to make that the length, to make length do much the same thing, so it would be a shorter and other languages like Visual Basic uses I think it's U bound and for upper bound and lower bound or something like that. I forget now. It's been a while. And just ask it how to compute number of elements within an array. Excuse me. Visual Basic. U-bound. Oh, it's different as well. It's like a method. I guess that would be contemporary Visual Basic. Arrays can be used to get length method. Yeah. Oh, I'm actually stunned that it does those things. How do you compute the number of array elements in PlayBASIC? Now the print's not supported because we use the semicolon for comments. That's why that change is there actually. I've always thought about making that optional, so old code from old listings worked. Studying. What does CLS in PlayBASIC do? You can't possibly know that, right? Well, I think CLS is actually in BASIC. Even old text basics have a CLS function. Well, the screen is cleared. Wow. Yeah, wasn't expecting that. What about what does end while do in PlayBASIC? Yeah. So even those brief interactions we're having with it, it's starting to pick up and learn about PlayBASIC. What graphics commands does PlayBASIC include? Now surely it can't know the answer to this. Yeah, it's drawing more from its experience with BASIC. I mean, Paint's a very old one. Puts the image to the graphics screen. There are many other graphics-related commands in PlayBASIC, so you should read the documentation for a full set. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I doubt it wouldn't have had access to anything to chew on to learn those things. But it's just interesting. It's hours of fun. You could accelerate your own workflow by just having this running in the background and asking it to do revisions of text. I was trying it to do something similar with some YouTube text and descriptions of things. Give it points. Could you write a summary from these points? You might have one things I did today. I got up and took dog for a walk. Wrote code. Took dog for another walk. Went shopping. 5. Cooked tea. 6. Made a YouTube video. Now surely that's as ridiculous as I can't possibly make something useful out of that. Okay, it's given us back point forms of what we've already done, but it's already helped us rewrite that into a more meaningful form. So what if we said a longer summary maybe we're asking it the wrong question, but we're kind of getting, but you see what I mean? Like it can write things, can write material for you. It can also do summaries of things. Those code, like the overview views of those routines before, were incredible. Alright, so it generated this routine here, which rotates a bunch of vertices apparently. What if we ask it, can you describe this function to somebody who's never, or somebody who does not understand programming? Describe what this function does to someone who does not understand programming. You're right. So there's an interesting one. It's working in radians, and then so even something like that, I mean, you can use that to make help more descriptive posts on the forum. And I've already started to do this as a bit of an experiment. Can you give more detail? Maybe that's what I was meant to ask before. Right, that's better, isn't it? I don't know if all this is going to be, all this would be all that, would be perfect, but as a starting point and a time saver, that's unbelievable. Like that's a perfectly decent thing to post in the forums, and it's fantastic search engine fodder for those keywords, because they're not keywords that I would normally have used. We've got rotation coming through a bunch of times, y coordinates, transformation. Normally I sort of would, if I write something like that, I would just let the code speak for itself. Maybe have a few lines of comments in between things, but you're kind of expecting people to understand what's happening here. What else? What a Quake Loader. Wow. Load MD2. Let's just grab the whole function. Now I think we're pushing our luck here. MD2 frame vector. So we're drawing a frame of vertices. Draw 3D object. Run through drawing a bunch of mesh stuff. Clipping it. Doing a rough clip. Load triangle section. We'll grab a section, right? And we'll just see what it thinks about. Because it won't know what these structures are. It won't know what any of this garbage here is. Can you outline what this basic function, PlayBASIC function is doing? You've got to be shitting me. And surely that must be... Oh, it's inferred that from the variable name. Surely it's saying MD2 and load, of course, triangle section. So the function name is giving it away. I would think so. Otherwise, how on earth could it possibly know what that stuff is doing? Wow, it's very cool, isn't it? Bunch of normal data. Draw frame. Alright, smarty pants. Alright, smarty pants. What this function is doing. Smarty pants. Takes an object frame from MD2 model position. It does this by looping through each vertex in the object frame, performing some calculations on its XYZ, it draws the dot position of screen using the .c command. The dot is red. Whoa! Whoa! Look at that. It's just deduced that this is a red RGB color. It's correct. But how does it know that? Is perspective even handled in here? Oh, they're just hard-coded in. I think these are just for visualizing the thing while I was writing the function. Who knows now? What's some old stuff? It's a groups example for particles. Oh, okay. So we're capturing a screen, doing all the rendering. We're doing individual particle rendering in this as well, I think. Although it might be shapes. Oh yeah, that's probably shapes, to be honest. I would hope so anyway. Particle group, new group, delete group, spawn group. It's got to be shapes, surely. Make array, index count, kill it. No, that's dot. Whoa. That's just plain dot. I was assuming it was shapes because you can do batches of rendering in shapes with lines and that much faster than doing individual renders. That's the point of them. That's the whole point of that stuff. And as we switch to 3D APIs, you kind of have to do batch rendering. You can't do plot by plot anymore. It's just not. It's not worth doing. Right. Let's see what it thinks about this. This will be the last one. Oops. Can you describe what this PlayBASIC code is doing? might be too long. I did notice that other things didn't like them if they were too long. It makes you wonder if it's getting that thing from the variable names, the comments. Each particle has properties such as position, velocity, angle, and speed. Groups of particles are drawn on the screen. Particles within the group. Yeah, that's basically true. Can you... Alright, yeah. Can you convert the code to Visual Basic? We might fall foul because it might be too long, I guess. I don't have Visual Basic installed in the system to actually find out whether this would give you something that compiles and runs, but yeah, it's giving up the ghost. But bravo, that's pretty amazing. So I suspect if you wanted to convert code from pretty much anything, I reckon, grab a bit of C code you find out there somewhere, or have it simplify something for you, grab a function or whatever. It's amazing. Anyway, just thought I'd show you that. If you haven't seen it already, jump over there and mess around with this thing. I think you'll enjoy it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.